This next technique is destroying wedge. It originally comes from alternating maces. I have seen this alternating maces done a million different ways. A lot of different things happen. When I saw Mr. Paul teach it the way we do, I fell in love with it. The key to this technique is contact. Contact, contact, contact. You got to make some contact on one particular punch in order to get the feel of whether this technique is going to work or not. Right? You got a target to the head, and you got a target to the center mass or to the sternum. If you work your mechanics correctly on this, let me show you. The idea of alternating maces destroying wedges for a two-hand push. Right? Alternating maces was the rolling back knuckles. Well, we still do that. Right? So as the push comes in, we're going to wedge. We're going to step back, and as he pushes, we're going to anchor that arm, and as he pushes, we're going to create this wedge. Right? So the old technique, and what most people end up doing was when he pushed hard, they'd knock him way out of the way, and then they'd lose their technique. Or they'd go down, and now they just got headbutted. Right? And that kind of defeats the purpose of what we're trying to accomplish here, which is make him hurt and not us. Right? So this is where destroying wedge came in. We just, boom, we wedge that and stabilize out in a really good, strong neutral bow. Now, once the wedge has been affected, now we can drop that hand down and rotate in to that vertical punch. Boom. Now, in the beginning, you'll notice, there's several schools of thought on the neutral bow and the forward bow. In the Aikikai, the big thing we're going to talk about is what we call a liquid bow, right? Which is, that heel is up. So when I punch, again, in the beginning, if I'm down in a classic neutral bow, and this is what I'll teach as a white belt working on yellow, is I'll keep him flat. I'll keep him in a classic neutral bow. And then from there, I'll drop, and that heel plants into the ground, and I'll keep that check going, and I'll come back to neutral, and I'll get my back fist. That's the book. In other words, when he comes in, it's going to be boom, boom, and then back fist. Right? Good way to teach mechanics. But as we progress, that's a white belt learning how to be a yellow belt. As you work your way into the system, we don't want to do a yellow belt technique like a yellow belt anymore. We start transitioning into doing it like a blue belt, doing it like a brown belt, and then finally doing it like a black belt. Okay? So again, now we're going to start working the idea of that liquid neutral bow. That heel is up, we're ready to move, and we hit that forward bow. Some guys, as they hit, boom, they'll pop that heel down on that vertical punch and come back. It takes a lot of skill, a lot of effort. Work it as hard as you can. We'll see if it happens in a real fight, right? Depending on how everything works. So as he pushes, I get my wedge, I pop, and I use the liquid forward bow to pop in, because now I'll get that, as I get that rotation going, I'll get just a little bit of a step drag in there, and then unwind with that back fist. So again, as he comes in, we get that in, and pop that. Now this shot, as he comes in, boom, as I claps down, and as you progress, you use that front foot to adjust to his distance. Most guys, go ahead and push all the way through. Good night, guys. As he pushes, just push my chest. Bam! All right? They commit to the push. Right? So if I step back and he continues to push, all right, he's not going to, in all reality, he's probably not going to stop. So that's where the wedge comes in, and I want to use that energy that he gives me. So when he pushes, see that? And then the back fist comes out. So that's what we're trying to get to, is I want to borrow his force. Let's slow it down just a little bit. I want to borrow that force that he's giving me and use it against him. And then come in with that back fist. All right, one more time at speed. He comes in, push comes in, back fist. And then you work your way out. Destroying wedge. Great technique. Have fun.